Okay, so let's talk about the Shepherdess and the Chimney Sweep. So this is a pretty interesting one, mostly in terms of its story. So it was released in 1952. It's a French animated movie directed by Paul Grimault. Um, so it's so yeah, it was released in '52 under the title The Shepherdess and the Chimney Sweep, but um, the movie, I guess, due to various um, circumstances, was released basically unfinished. I guess the director didn't really have a chance to properly finish the movie. So, and then they kind of released it prematurely, or, before it was done. So, it actually was released a couple decades later, actually. When I left off before my hiatus, it was just before I started the 80s, and it was released in 1980. So that means I'll probably be watching I guess the remake, or what would you call it? Just I'll be watching the re-release fairly soon, possibly. Um, and yeah, it's an interesting story. I think the only production stories that or this the story behind this movie seems very comparable to both the Thief and the Cobbler and Little Nemo, two more 80s movies. Or no, Thief and the Cobbler was released or officially released in the 90s. um yeah, but yeah, those are some other movies that kind of went through some production issues, and they were kind of in production hell for a while. Um, but yeah, this one was released in '52, just I guess not finished yet. So anyway, the story is we have a kingdom. Oh, one more thing before I start the plot. It is based, or it's loosely based on a fairy tale, the fairy tale called The Shepherdess and the Chimney Sweep. Very loosely based, and it was written by Hans Christian Andersen. So yeah, um, but they obviously took quite a few liberties with the story, which is why when it was re-released in 1980, it was renamed to The King and the Mockingbird, because they're a bit more the central focus of the story. But well, in this version, yeah, we do mainly follow the titular Shepherdess and Chimney Sweep. We'll make the comparisons when we see the other version, but yeah, for now, let's talk about this plot. So we have a kingdom called Takakardia, um, and it's ruled by an evil king. And let's see, he likes to shoot birds, but he's not very good at killing them because he's cross-eyed. Um, and then he basically goes back to let me see. It does say, or yeah, I do remember one detail is he did manage to kill a bird once, and it happened to be the wife of our bird character, who is technically the main character of the movie. You could also say it's the shepherdess and the chimney sweep, etc. But yeah, um, very complicated stuff. But anyway, yeah. So the bird kind of likes to, or yeah, the mockingbird. Well, I guess true to his species, he likes to mock the king, and especially when the king almost, or at least tries to shoot him, and I think at one point he almost kills his own, son, or I mean, almost kills the bird's son. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, the king retreats to his apartment. Yeah, the king has an apartment instead of a castle, but anyway, yeah, secret apartment. And I guess he's also, either he's a painter or he's like an art collector or something, and, or he, or yeah, it's probably just personal possessions of his, some paintings of the titular shepherdess that he's in love with, and then he also has a portrait of the chimney sweep, who's, you know, and it does kind of have a nice moment where his facial expressions looking at the portraits make it pretty clear, how he feels about each of these characters. He's in love with the shepherdess, but, he clearly despises the chimney sweep because obviously the shepherdess is in love with the chimney sweep. And obviously you know, these characters are both like really attractive and everything. So yeah, of course they're drawn to each other and not this, slightly homely king, middle-aged king. Um, let's see. And then he also has a portrait of himself, I guess dressed as a hunter. Yeah, it's probably like a portrait that his royal painter made. Um, and hold on a second. Anyway, sorry. Um, so he goes to sleep, and there's like a statue that comes to life, and I guess he's kind of a what do you call it, accomplice to well, basically all of his art basically comes to life because you know the titular shepherdess and chimney sweep and the portraits, they both come to life, and so does his portrait self, the king's portrait self, and also this statue. And I guess the statue kind of, or hold on, I'll just try and read the plot here. The king dreams of the beautiful shepherdess whose painting he keeps on his wall, but the shepherdess is in love with the chimney sweep, whose hated portrait is on the opposite wall. At night, the paintings come to life and attempt to escape from the palace, but are pursued by a cross-eyed painting of the king that also has come to life. He disposes, or deposes, the real king, takes his place, and orders the capture of the shepherdess and the sweep, but the bird is there to help when called upon. So, basically, yeah, whenever the two characters, these two kids in love, they need help, they call for, well, the character in this English dub, he's literally called Mr. Wonderbird, and whenever they're in trouble, they call out Wonderbird. It's like, it kind of feels like a superhero cartoon. Save us, Wonderbird! Wonderbird! Sorry. Wonderbird to the rescue! I mean, yeah, obviously it's not quite worded like that, but, and hold on a second. Okay, so anyway, they, the bird comes along and saves them from, certain perils. The king's guards are after them, etc. And yeah, along the way yeah, along the way they enter the lower part of the city where there's a bunch of like peasant folk basically that they live in, this dark neighborhood where they never see the sunlight, I guess. And they kind of there's like this blind organ grinder guy, and let's see. And then the king sends in like a giant robot that he can control from inside, and yeah, I guess robot exoskeleton or whatever. This movie's kind of weird, and yeah, he captures all of them, and as well as the organ grinder, and he tries feeding the organ grinder to his pet lions and tigers, and well, there are bears in the somewhere in the pen, but not in the same enclosure as the lions and tigers. But still, oh my, yep. And then he like threatens to kill the chimney sweep, and being pressured, being backed into a corner. Basically, the shepherdess has no choice but to accept his proposal. Mainly at the suggestion of the bird. The bird kind of, the bird's kind of like the one driving, like these two protagonist characters are kind of just, following his guide throughout the movie. And then, the king spares the chimney sweep and the bird's lives, but he sends them to, he still keeps them as slaves, so they have to, like, help paint these, I guess they're supposed to be busts or whatever, or sculptures of his head, basically giant busts. But then they kind of mess around with them and make them look all hideous, and then the guards throw them in the jail with the lions and the tigers. And again, there's a bear in there in a different enclosure. Oh my. And it turns out the organ grinder has managed to kind of subdue the creatures by playing his organ, or calliope, I guess. And then let's see. And then the bird manages to convince basically all of the creatures in their zoo to help him and the chimney sweep save the shepherdess, from marrying the king. And then they break out, they take down the guards, they fight the king, they defeat the king, etc., etc. And they also basically destroy the kingdom, but everyone else seems to be alright except for the king and maybe some of his guards. And everybody's free, etc., etc. So yeah, kind of a simple plot, but it does have a lot of interesting little directions. It has like a lot of unique imagery. This was a very this was actually a pretty influential movie, I guess, even in the 50s when it wasn't, I guess, finished yet. or I mean, the story has a beginning, middle, and end, but, I guess there were details that, they weren't actually done with yet, or at least the director wasn't done with yet. And yeah, a lot of interesting visuals, the robot, a lot of, you know, crazy contraptions around the castle and everything, the kingdom. And yeah, overall the animation was pretty good. I probably would say it's one of the better animations out of these earlier movies. Like, probably better than the ones made in Russia, which, themselves are pretty good, pretty well animated themselves. But yeah, it's probably like slightly better than those, but not quite as good as Disney. You know. And yeah, I could tell the movie wasn't really like properly finished yet, but I think it was entertaining enough. It had a lot of yeah, it had a nice presentation, and also the voice actors were good, or at least in the English dub that I watched. So yeah, looking through the cast here, it looks like pretty much everyone is like this really high profile, or, a very respected British actor, yeah, it looks like they pick some really big British actors, most notably Peter Ustinov as the Bird. And yeah, it was definitely an interesting performance. I think it got a little annoying by the end, but I do still appreciate, Ustinov's range, especially, like, this is one of those characters where he's kind of like doing several different voices throughout. Kind of think, for instance, maybe like say, well, when there's like a cartoonish character that likes to do a bunch of wacky voices, it takes a special talent for a voice actor to like do all those kinds of voices. Kind of like Robin Williams voicing the genie and stuff like that. So yeah, I appreciated the performance again, even though it got a little annoying by the end. But yeah, it is interesting hearing the way he does the voices, because at times you can definitely tell it's the voice of Prince John from Robin Hood, but yeah, at other times it does sound like he's doing some unique voices that I have never really heard him do before. I don't really know a whole lot about these other voices except for Denholm Elliott, who is the voice of the Chimney Sweep. And I saw his name, and I'm like, where have I heard that name before? And yeah, then I'm looking at him right now. It's what's his name? The character's name. Marcus Brody from the Indiana Jones movies. So yeah, and it helps that I recently watched recently I watched Last Crusade. Obviously, that's kind of the movie where he has the biggest role. So yeah, it was very interesting hearing this early performance from him. And yeah, I think all the voices did a great job. I think, this Max Adrian guy who voiced the king, he was very charismatic and, very, he had a very, what do you call it, smooth voice, very, yeah, very charismatic. And then we had, Claire Bloom did good as the Shepherdess, etc., etc. I also really liked the voice of the blind man. yeah, I think pretty much all the voices did great, and yeah, even one character that had like a brief scene in the movie, but Joan Heel as the kitten. Yeah, she had like one little scene, but yeah, she did a good job too, as well as yeah, all these other little names in here. Yeah, so overall, I think the movie was at least for this early, you know, early beta version, I guess. I think this was pretty good. I'm sure the re-release in 1980 will be better, albeit with significantly lesser known voices. Yeah, the only one that even has a page here is Billy Carnes or whatever, and let's see. I don't. I mean, I see some roles in here, but not. Yeah, nothing that I like really know. I guess he voices Obelix in some later some later Asterix movies. Anyway, yeah. But aside from that, yeah, these English voice actors did a good job, and yeah, I can tell there was a solid movie being made. This, I guess, the full proper version helped influence, you know, yeah, Hayao Miyazaki has gone on record saying that it was a major influence for him, and Isao Takahata, yeah, another Studio Ghibli founder. Um, so yeah, I think as far as it goes, this was good. It can do better though, I guess, which I'm sure the re-release will. So I guess for now I'll give this movie a 7 out of 10, and as usual, if there's anything I need to add, I'll put it in the comments. And yeah, I guess if you want to check this out, feel free to check it out. And although again, there's probably a better version of this movie, but yeah, I guess I'll be the judge of that when I finally see it, which might not be too far away since right now I'm just getting caught up with all the movies that I wasn't able to see before that I can see now. Before 1980, I'm just getting myself caught up right now. So yeah. Again, if there's anything I need to add, I'll put it in the comments. And I guess that's about all for now. Mash it and smash it. Signing off.